Warning, this video may contain Sonic Movie 3 spoilers, so if you have not seen the film, then do not watch. Before we jump right into this, I want to show you some recent Sonic gets. So, Cinemark Theaters released the little popcorn bucket. Picked this up at one of my local theaters. It was $25. You know, it doesn't hold a whole bunch of popcorn, but they actually give you an extra bucket to refill it, you know, during the movie. So that was pretty nice. So I grabbed that, and Regal Cinemas actually has a popcorn head, which I'd like to get, but they don't release their merch until like a week before the movie. So as I'm filming this, they would technically release it next week. I'm not a big Funko collector, but Funko released the very first Soap Shoe Sonic that we've ever received in like 20-something years. So that was pretty cool. I had to pick that up because it's Soap Shoe Sonic, you know. And now what I think all of y'all are here for, the Sonic Movie 3 2-pack, Super Shadow and Super Sonic. This set has been flooded across social medias, and it's actually kind of crazy because I wish they would have announced this or would have dropped this like way after the movie. That way it didn't potentially spoil it for some folks. But technically, if you have played SA2, then you kind of know what could be happening in the film. Not saying it's going to, but it kind of gives you a good idea of what could happen. Man, the Sonic community is great. People were finding this in store and naturally trying to buy it, but it was register locked until the 10th, and it actually ended up going live at like midnight Pacific Standard Time. So I loaded up my Target app, placed an order pickup, grabbed it today. $30 is what this set cost. Absolutely insane. $30, and these figures actually light up. Right now, as I'm filming this, it is in stock for shipping, and some of my locations still have it available for order pickup. Now, I've been seeing a lot of photos of this like floating around, and stores are getting a lot of these, like 5+ sets. I really like the box art. We have a nice illustration of Sonic all lit up and Shadow as well. So the pull tabs are actually taped to the side of the box. So I'm gonna open that guy up, which is actually pretty cool because if you wanted to buy another one of these and keep it sealed, you can kind of preserve the batteries a lot longer if you wanted to. Tabs are out. Let's see what these guys look like. Oh man. Oh, that looks great, dude. Oh my gosh. Heck yeah, dude. These look amazing. That is so hard to believe that this is only $30 for this. That is crazy. Before we unbox this baby, here is the barcode and the Target DPCI to help you track this down. Man, do these figures look amazing. So things that I'm noticing right away is going to be the coloration to both of them. So Sonic obviously has that like goldish yellow look to him, and then Shadow is a lot lighter, more of like a cream color, but he still has that red throughout his spikes. On the sides of their bodies right there, you can see that little hole. Now that's a reset button, so when you end up changing the batteries at some point, you just press that in and it kind of resets the lights for it. But they take those little disc batteries, I'll post a picture of what they look like right there. So that's pretty cool. That doesn't add a lot of weight to them. You can see there is a single screw that connects to the back of that battery cover right there. But other than that, the paint applications look great. Now there is more of that like highlighted translucent plastic to their spikes, and that's what's really going to give them that lighted effect. Now these are significantly lighter than our normal 5-inch figures, like a lot lighter. Let's start with Sonic. So this is actually our second Supersonic figure within the Sonic Movie 3. The other one actually has more articulation, but it is missing the like lighted effect. So this one still has a great amount of articulation, but because they had to put all the little lighting effects and wiring on the inside, they had to take some of that away. So things that I noticed that are gone is going to be like the torso joint and the butterfly joints. But other than that, everything is pretty much the same. His head joint is also like on a swivel rather than like the ball and sockets, but that's probably because they had to put wires up through there. But he still can get some great poses, which we will do later. I unfortunately haven't found the regular Supersonic figure, so I really can't compare him to this, so I'm going off of the images and like other things that I have seen. I'd like to give you a good close-up of his face expression. Now, despite them putting a button at his chest, it actually doesn't stick out too much. Like, it doesn't look like like a big old growth is on his chest at all, but his eyes look amazing. I mean, just that realistic 3D eye effect is absolutely phenomenal. Now when I push this in, you can see that lighted effect go, and I have all my studio lights on, so this is a pretty bright light. I mean, all things considered, you can see all that lighting through like the translucent quills back there, and it looks really good. So all of that lighting is going to come from the head. There's nothing that's going to be at the body or the arms. arms. You know, this lighting effect isn't cheap or gimmicky because look at his eyes. Like when this thing lights up, they're glowing through, and that looks so awesome. And you know, it would be one thing if you like turned it on and it was just like barely any light shining through, but no, this is a significant amount. The rest of this figure is really solid. There's no weird plastic pieces or like paint smudges or anything like that. But I don't know if you can see this. There is a light sparkle to his paint applications. The camera doesn't really do it justice, but there is like a very light sheen and sparkle to the paint that they used. Of course, this like expensive camera that I use to film most of my unboxings is not picking up that like sparkle. It's just not zooming in close enough. So here's my phone, and it's actually picking it up a lot better. You can see as I go from side to side, just like the little sparkles at the front of his head right there. Let's take a look at this articulation. So if you have any of these 5-inch figures, then you kind of know what to expect. But lots of joints going on right here. We have a hinge and a swivel. I can bring these arms up a great amount, and then incredible flexion here at the elbow, like way more than 90 degrees. You can basically fold it on itself, and then there is also a swivel joint here, so I can spin this elbow around. And then if you look closely, there's also another joint here at the wrist, so I can bring it forward and backwards and then spin it around. Now, one of my favorite things to these 5-inch figures is the hand articulation, because you can open and close, and I like having that extra playability to be able to get him in some more unique poses. I mean, if you know any of the 4-inch figures, and they're always in like this position right here, so being able to potentially hold a Chaos Emerald or, you know, anything else, then I think that's a big deal for me. His legs have ball joints right there, so you can get him in a lot of positions, especially like running and sprinting. But since he is in super form, then he's going to be doing mostly like flying around. But you can bring these legs forwards, backwards, all around. There is a swivel here at the top of the thigh, so you could take this entire leg and spin it around. And then great movement here at the knees. You can basically fold it on itself, and there is also a swivel joint here as well. And then getting on down to like the ankles, this is the last joint, so you can bring this foot upwards and downwards, and you might be able to spin it around. But I have noticed there can be potential like paint swapping right here. If you mess with this joint too much, like if you rock it from side to side, some of this like white paint can come off and expose like the plastic layer there. So I try not to do it too much, but he still has amazing posability here. Now let's move into shadow. This coloration to his super form looks way more accurate than what they previously released. Unfortunately, I don't have the mainline Super Shadow figure. I missed out on it, and now it sells for like a crazy amount of money. But anyways, this looks way more accurate in how he's truly represented within the games. I do, however, have the 2-inch version, and that'll give you an idea of the coloration that they use, and you can see that this one is far more superior. He looks just as good as Sonic. In fact, he has more paint applications going on, so that means there's like more room for error, and everything looks nice and clean. Nothing looks like wonky or smeared or anything like that. They've done a great job on these figures. Definitely, these are going in my top 10 figures of 2024. The button for his chest feature is also not super prominent. It does fit in with him really well. I love the sculpting that they did for his headpiece. I mean, it's a good combination between the movie as well as the games. I mean, it can work for so many different things. But that looks so good. I love the glow, how it like starts off real fast and then does like that slow fade. He also has the same thing to his eyes. You can see it like shining through that red color, and it just looks so good. I'm blown away by this. You can see all the different light coming through the quills as well. Here, we'll go ahead and start it over. Every time you push that button in, it starts the sequence over again, so you don't have to wait for it to stop doing its little feature. But that looks so good. I love the idea that they made those quills translucent to allow that light to go through. Super brilliant. Let's look at his articulation. It's going to be pretty much the same as Sonic. And you know what? I didn't actually do Sonic's head articulation, but it's a basic swivel joint. You can't move it any other direction besides left and right. And I don't even think you could spin this around. Like, it's kind of resisting me to spin it around. And that makes sense because there's probably wires that are going up there and you're going to break it regardless. So same type of joints. You got our hinges and swivels, so we can bring those arms up a great amount. He still has great range of motion here at the elbow. You can see that nice paint detail there. And everything is pretty much the same. We can open and close that hand. We also have that little flexion here at the wrist forwards and backwards, and I can spin it around as well. Nice sturdy joints. They did a great job with him. We do have the ball joints here at the hips, so you can do that skating motion, but obviously he's going to be flying around and not doing any skating. And then we can bring these joints up, backwards, just like so. And that'll really kind of give you that like flying through the air type of look, which would look something, turn them on, like this. Yeah, that's how he's pretty much represented. That's awesome looking. So he does have the movement here at his shoes, forward, backwards, and you can have the little rocker joint there. So that looks great, and that's what's going to allow him to get that effect that he is just flying through. I love this figure so much. Now that I have these beautiful figures, I gotta find a way to display them so they're actually in a flying position. I could probably like hang them from the ceiling or something like that, but I'll probably find like a little doll stand or like a clip that'll kind of keep them on place on my shelf. And you know what's so cool is he also has that like little sparkle and sheen to his paint application, and that looks really good. That is what really sets these figures apart from others. I mean, this sets the bar so high. Of course, we got to do a comparison with our normal Sonic Movie 3 figures. So these are the 5-inch single-carded ones that have the extra articulation, so you can see here at the torso, as well as those like little butterfly joints up there. Man, I love this set. What a way to kind of wrap up 2024 with a set like this. I mean, there is so much going on. The sculpting looks great. The paint applications are true to how we see them within the games. The light up feature is great. It's nice and strong. It's not like weak or dull or anything like that. Allowing that light to shine through the eyes and like illuminate the red coloring is absolutely genius. The 3D eyes, or like the realistic eyes, are absolutely a home run. I do really like that they were able to keep most of that articulation. Yeah, we had to sacrifice the torso and the butterfly joints, but still, these figures still have a ton of range of motion. Honestly, there's really nothing that I would change about this. It's a home run. The price point is great. The figures look amazing. I guess the only thing I would add if I had to would be stands to kind of keep them elevated and propped up, but I'm sure I could find something on Amazon. If I do, I'll post that link in the description below. But this is definitely a home run of a set. You gotta add this to your collection, and as many of you know, really good high quality Sonic figures hold their value and increase over time, and this set is gonna be one of those pieces. This is a set that we're gonna be looking back on decades, you know, in the future and be like, man, that was the set. But that's all I got for you with this video. I really hope you enjoyed this unboxing and review of the new Sonic Movie 3 Super Sonic and Super Shadow light up figures from Jakks Pacific. Right now, these are hitting Target stores. I'm not sure if it's an exclusive there. I didn't see a sticker on it or anything like that, but right now, that is the place to get it. But thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this unboxing and review, be sure to like and subscribe. It does help out the channel. It lets me know that I'm doing a good job. Make sure you connect with me on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date when new things drop, like the rest of our Sonic Movie 3 figures and anything else that Jakks Pacific gives us in the future. I also post toy photography and toy videos, things you won't see here on YouTube. Until then, collectors, I'll see y'all in the next video.